Whenever I address or sit in front of a group of people, before beginning my talk, I always do an invocation. The invocation is actually an effort to enter into our own inner personality and bring about some vibrational readiness. If it is to speak, to speak. If it is to hear and receive, for that. Everything is done within our body, inside our body. Nothing is done any time in our physical body or outside. So this invocation will help you to enter in your own within, activate it and make it ready. Shall I go ahead? And unwilling nodding on? Willing. Harihi, Harihi, Harihi Om Tatsat Jaya Guru. Shuddho Buddho Vimukta Sudhishikara Giram Mukhyatat Parya Bhumi Yasmad Jadam Samastam Jagadidam Amrdat Vyapya Sarvam Sthido Yaha Yasyam Sham Shavatarei Suranaravanajai Rekshidam Sarvamedad Tam Bhumanam Mukundam Hridigatam Amalam Krishnameva Prapadye Tam Bhumanam Mukundam Hridigatam Amalam Krishnameva Prapadye Madhya Hridaya Kashe Sadanandamayo Guru Udedu Satatam Samyak Swatmananda Prabodhaka Hari 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 Om Tas Jaya Guru Jaya Guru. My dear children, I would like all of you to recite 3 times a beautiful sound combination. We call it a monosyllable, but it's a combination of 3 syllables. A, U, and This combinational syllable represents the entire gamut of knowledge that human being is able to evolve, express and convey. This chanting should be done with a full heart, mind and throat. Interlock your fingers and place them on your lap. Sit comfortably erect, close your eyes and open the mouth and the heart and join me. While reciting, have deliberation in your mind that this joint recitation should spread upon the whole earth and shower its benedictions on all the creatures upon the earth. This is an expansive thought process which the human being alone will be able to evolve, preserve, pursue and perfect. So be very large-hearted. Let us make our life not for one's own family, but for the sake of the entire society. Every individual life should become a noble contribution for the entire society's national and global welfare. Hare Hare. Join me. I have some trouble with my voice, but none of you has. So your sound should be magnificent. Come out with. not satisfied. You haven't put your full. Have no reluctance. It's an expression. You will be immensely benefited. This Omkara increases the longevity of the heart. It also increases the health of the heart. The benefits in the mental and intellectual level are far more supreme. The third one. I am pleased partially. It took such a noble effort to shake you up. It's not right. When you see a hill, you must be ready to climb. No, I will not come, don't say. My dear children, I am very happy to be in the midst of all of you. I don't know how long I will talk. I am going to tell you, if you are all receptive, something very, very precious. Very precious. It depends upon your reception. I would like to gauge it. I will gauge it as I progress. Our subject, this is a Vedantic workshop. Our sponsors have named it as a Vedantic workshop. The word Vedanta refers to the end of knowledge. When will knowledge fulfill human life? To the fullness, to the ecstasy, to the abundance of every individual. There is that kind of a knowledge. On the basis of that Vedanta, we are going to discuss the subject accepting and transcending conflicts. This necessarily means, is there any conflict in life? If so, where is its genesis? How does it sprout? And what are we to do in the matter of understanding the conflict and attempting a solution for it? So it's a very important and fundamental discussion. In my interactions with life, I have been speaking and moving as a university for 67 years. Whenever I happen to ask, can you tell me what is life and what is its intention? The answer is, Swamiji, we haven't thought about it. What is this? All of us are living. Should we not know what our life is? When compared with the rest of the life forms upon the earth, we are quite distinct. We are considered to be the highest and topmost. On what ground? Is it in the matter of the height and mass of the body? On what account is our superiority? Our superiority is not on account of our body. The elephant is the biggest land animal. The whale is the biggest water animal. Can you imagine the size? The whale, the child suckles about 150 liters or so of mother's milk. Just see how huge it is. Very huge. So we are nobody. Then where is our superiority? Our superiority is lurking inside the body. Everything outside is visible to your senses. But inside the body, nothing is invisible. If there is anything called invisible, understand it very clearly, it can only be within our body. Everything outside our senses can perceive. An eye specialist told me that the far point of the eye is infinity. What did I say? The far point of the eye is infinity. If a sizable object is presented or placed at an infinite distance, you will find the naked eyes can see it. And this eye was shaped by whom? You have any answer? The mother has not done it, nor the father, no external agency. The entire shaping of the fetus has been done by the fetus itself. And all the organs are shaped by the fetus. It only drew blood from the mother's body. Nobody has given it any direction. Nobody has helped it. When the child is born, the mother's role comes, the father's role comes. So these eyes and the other organs are made inside the mother's womb by the power that is lying in the fetus. And that power is infinite so far as the eyes are concerned. So imagine what should be the measure, magnitude, potential, majesty and greatness of what is within your body. Outside the body, in the body, there is no greatness at all. When we say conflict, what is this? Everyone here is living. And invariably, all people continue to face conflicts. The more you grow, the conflicts become deeper and more serious. They can separate a child from the father, from the parents. They can separate two brothers. Sometimes they separate two people who have married in love and fondness. Everything is done by conflict. So should we not understand what this conflict is? And do we have anything to deal with it? Here the caption is accepting and transcending conflicts. We are not going to destroy conflicts, eliminate them. Allow them to become part and parcel of your mind. The conflicts will be there and you will be floating over them. The word transcending means that. It doesn't destroy anything. You are learning to swim in water, and after learning, you are floating in water. The water still has the drowning power, but you are not affected. Am I clear? So let the conflicts to any extent be there. We will learn the habit, the art, the science and the process of floating in them. We will not destroy them. To destroy the conflict will be to exterminate the mind itself, the intelligence itself. After all, we are human beings. We have our own options, our own selections, our own choices. We have to express them, pursue them and fulfill them. In the process, if differences of opinion come, what is there wrong? Why are 3 or 4 people joining there to form a committee? The idea is to have different points of view, so that a consensus can be arrived at and the best thinking measure can be gained. So conflict is a part of our life and living. To understand the conflicts effectively, we must understand our life. If I ask you what will be your definition of life, I have no time to ask you individually. Otherwise it will be very revealing and also funny. It will be very funny. Each person will give a beautiful definition, very strangely. Now I want to tell you a definition that is universal, eternal, and about which nobody can have any kind of a difference of opinion. Life is experiential. Do you agree?
Yes.
Huh? Every time you are experiencing. When the child was in the mother's womb and it came out, immediately the child reacts to it with a violent cry. Actually, the word cry should not be used because there is no crying situation for the child. It is beginning to feel its presence and independence. So the lungs which are not active at all in the mother's womb suddenly become active and the lungs become swollen with air. That is that sound. It is something necessary, pleasant, hopeful and very, very pleasing and delightful to the parents who are nearby. So life is experiential at every point. Even when you become unconscious, who tells you that you are unconscious? You get up and then say, I was not aware of anything. In sleep also, when you sleep and forget everything, your own body, mind, intelligence, ego and the world. Even then you get up and say, I was sleeping, I did not know anything. So the experience is fully there at every time. Life is interactional. Interactional. Interactional means what? It is not one thing, there are two. One and the other, they interact between themselves. So what is the interaction so far as our life is concerned? Every one of you is an individual. In the morning you wake up. What? Perhaps you see the roof, the floor, the wall. Go to the toilet, the interactions start. And you interact throughout the day for 16 hours. In all the 16 hours, you are the one interacting subject individual. All the rest are the objects. So the interactions proceed from where? Can you tell me? The interactions proceed from the individual, and the interactions subsist on the individual. They also terminate in the individual. There is no interaction at all besides you. Besides you. When I am seeing all of you, I am seeing. I am seeing. I don't know whether you are seeing, but I am seeing. I is fully involved in it. The whole seeing process is mine, not yours. Not the world's, it's mine. Though the seeing is a process of the seer, and the seer is inside the body. So the seeing process is inside. The seen, having seen it, the visible, that is also inside. Our body and senses are inert, I-N-E-R-T. They are made up of matter. Solely from the food that you consume, the body is shaped. It is retained. If you deny food for the body, how long will it remain? Do you want to try? Why are you keeping quiet? Say yes or no. Would you like to try? No. So you have to understand it without trying. Use your intelligence, infer it. So our body, because it is made up of matter, neither the body nor the senses have anything like livingness, any power to sense. So our senses are employed by the mind. The senses are employed by the mind, and the perceptions are done by the mind, in the mind. When I see you, I focus my eyes on you. The light rays falling on you get reflected, touch the cornea, and instantly electrical pulses go to the brain centers, and the experience and knowledge take place inside. Do you agree or disagree? Huh?
Agree.
Why are you weak? Speak a little louder. You are not sleeping. Say firmly.
I agree.
Is there any perception externally? Because the mind is employing the senses, mind is inside, and the process of seeing is the mental, and the mental imprints of the object, they are also mental. So is there anything called external in our perception? Huh? You are sufficiently intelligent and grown so that you can come out with an answer. It may be shocking you, but it is knowledge. It is knowledge produced by your intelligence, which nobody in this world can deny. I look at milk and then say it is white and it is fluid. This verdict cannot be questioned by any other organs or even intelligence. Similarly, when the intelligence finds something, it cannot be questioned by the senses. It can be invalidated by a counter reasoning, that is okay. But the intelligence is supreme in its verdict. I am standing firmly on intelligence and talking to you, activating your intelligence to grasp the knowledge that is presented. Can you resist it? Huh? Can you resist? Then drop your intelligence. You cannot mortgage it also. You should be active. So the interactions always result in conflicts. I will tell you about the greatest conflict that a human in this world has had. I am always presenting a very important sentence. What is that? Personal stories are the prevailing influence in humanity. Personal stories are the prevailing influence in humanity. Do you understand? Whenever we are given an example, a model, an instance that took place in the past, some precedent, we are able to understand and appreciate link matters better. So I will present before you a very beautiful instance that took place in India 5,152 years back. It was a great, huge war in which 4.5 million warriors were present. How many? I don't think there has been a war like this ever since. The first unprecedented war where 4.5 million warriors were present in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, which is about 145 kilometers away from New Delhi. Both the armies assembled there. Tokens and identities were distributed to them. Everything was ready. Arjuna, a pivotal fighter, an illustrious fighter, he had done about 13 years of austere life before coming to the war, making preparations to fight, excel, and win over the war. He had Krishna as the charioteer. He asked Krishna, drive my chariot in front, station it in a proper place so that I can examine the armies and decide upon my strategy, he said. Instantly Krishna drove the horses, whipped them, and stopped them right in front of Bhishma and Drona, the grandfather of Arjuna and the teacher. Drona was the teacher from whom Arjuna had imbibed all the fighting skill. Now he is supposed to use that skill against his soul. Fill up the blank. Against his soul. Teacher. I imbibe some skill from you and then I use it against you. Is it okay? In a quarrel, will you use your body and arms against your mother? This is much more fierce and heart-rending. All the skill he has acquired from Dronacharya, and he is supposed to use it against him. Who says this? The teacher himself. By standing there, I am commanding your enemy camp, and I am going to hit you with my arrows. You hit me equally, he says. Bhishma, the grandfather, who had looked after Arjuna. Arjuna had no father. So he used to put Arjuna on his lap and give him morsels of food. Such a Bhishma, all love and fondness for Arjuna. Arjuna now found that he had to fight. My dear children, please tell me, can there be a greater conflict? ഒന്ന് ചൊല്ലുങ്ങളെ ബാ. Do you have any other conflict? And this war is going to involve what? 4.5 million warriors were all hit. They fell -10. In 18 days. I don't think in the present Ukraine war so many people have died. 18 days. This is much more than that, months old. So Arjuna was totally unnerved. His Gandiva, famous bow, fell from his hand. The body started trembling. The mind started whirling. The intelligence said, very sinful, improper war. Get away from here. So Arjuna felt, I am not going to fight. I will return. He was full of grief. The grief of the mind was scorching the body, he says. Krishna, can you cool me? Then open your heart. Otherwise, keep quiet. Don't tell me anything. Like you will fight. If you win, you will get heaven. If you win, you will get back your kingdom. If you happen to die, you will get heaven. Don't tell me all this. I am being scorched. Can you speak something by virtue of which I will be able to feel some cool and comfort? Then it's okay. Otherwise, close your mouth, he said. Krishna smilingly took up the challenge and he started speaking to Arjuna. My dear Arjuna, you are a fighter. You have come to the battlefield to fight. And everyone here has come equally so. You are not to look at each other and garland each other. Here the matter involved is stark fighting. Everyone has come here either to kill and win or to fall dead and killed. Nobody wants to walk away from the battlefield except after victory. So speak the language of war. Nothing is wrong here. You have not invited anybody. Everybody has come with his own individual resolve. Arjuna was suddenly taken aback. It was a close friend of his who was speaking, so he could not deny or disregard what Krishna said. Suddenly his tears stopped. And he started wondering deeper. And he said, how can I fight? I am ready to fight. I want to fight. But the mind doesn't allow me to fight. It is a conflict. It is a conflict. How can I kill my grandfather who loves me and whom I adore? How can I aim arrows at my teacher from whom I have imbibed the entire skill of fighting? So this is a conflict in my head, in my intelligence. I am not able to resolve. My dear souls, the dialogue began then. You know how long it lasted? For 2 or 2.5 hours. Before that, about 10-15 minutes passed and Arjuna started flinging beautiful, relevant questions. All the questions were answered by Krishna, one after the other. The dialogue grew. Initially, it was between two people in the war field. When it started swelling, it found it was a comprehensive life gospel to deal with all the infinite conflicts of human life and find a solution very close to the mind, within the body, in the sphere of the intelligence. All problems and conflicts are created by the mind. And the solution is with the elder brother of the mind, with the intelligence. Tell me whether you have the mind and the intelligence also? No answer. Shall I go to your mother to ask? Do you have the mind and also the intelligence? Yes. Then let mind produce any conflict. We will ask the intelligence to come up with a solution, as it happened with Arjuna. Krishna's discussion became very thorough. He started with grief. Arjuna was overpowered by grief, I told you. What were the further elements? He had grief, he was in doubt, he was in delusion, and he was in fear. Don't you encounter all these in life? Huh? Is there anybody here fearless or fear-free? What about doubt? What about delusion? All these were treated by Krishna. So he discussed it very well. At one point of time, it may appear to be a dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, but if you understand it properly and impersonally, it is a dialogue between the enlightened intelligence, human intelligence, and the deluded human mind. Krishna represents the enlightened individual, and Arjuna represents the deluded victim. So it's a conversation between the intelligence and the mind. You have both. You have both. And therefore, any conflict of your life, you must be able to analyze well. You know what Krishna said? Krishna said, the wise people never worry over either the dead or the living. The wise people never worry over the dead and the living. Can it be understood? Yes, it can be understood. Are you prepared to listen to a rational exposure? Huh? There are only two kinds of people in the world. Some are living and many are dead and gone. Tell me whose number is more? தெரியாது இல்லையா? 10,000 crores of people have lived and gone. That will mean what? 100 million, 100 billion. No? How much? 10,000 crores of people. That means 100,000 millions. So many people have lived and gone. And the living are 7 crores of people. Tell me, what are we going to do in the end? Huh? What are you going to do in the end? You are so timid. 10,000 people have gone who lived here. What about the 700 living now? They will also go. So there are only two categories of people. One gone and the other going. Only two categories. You are celebrating your birthday. I will say the birthday never comes. You are only celebrating the death approaching day. Not birthday. Day is gone. The next day that arrives moves you towards death. This is the situation of life. Can you not see it? And become bold, confident, comprehensive, unshakable? We are equipped with a mind and an intelligence, the senses, all of which are superior to the world. We are not going to be a slave before the world, but we are going to be a master. Master. I am not an elephant. I am not a rhinoceros. I am not a whale. But I am a human whose spine is perpendicular to the earth. All the others have a horizontal spine. The monkeys have part of both. Our head is above all the organs. The head should rule every operation in the body of every organ. Understand the greatness of your brain, the greatness of your head, and speak confidently the language of wisdom, not the language of delusion and fear and doubt and dismay. We are born here to live, and we will live till the biological body becomes defective and false. What strength do we want? We want the strength of knowledge. So Krishna said, there was no time when I was not. The sloka runs this. Natvevaham jadunasam natvam neme janadhipaha nachaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamatav param. My dear Arjuna, if you think that I was born of Devaki, it is wrong. Devaki is only my biological mother, and my body is the biological child of Devaki. Body does not constitute life. Life is animating the body, activating the body. It is the inner presence. That inner presence which you call the I. The I. The I. The I is not mine. Body is mine. Mind is mine. Intelligence is mine. Ego is mine. The world is mine. My house is mine. Car is mine. Eyes are mine. Nose is mine. Hands are mine. There is only a single I, the subject. All the others are objects. Objects, inert. The earth is inert. Water is inert. Air is inert. Fire is inert. Sky, space is inert. Show me any other object other than these. That I was not born. It was present before. Unless it was present before, can it be present now? If you are not present earlier, can you be present now? Huh? What? Huh? If something is absent, can it be present? Can presence follow from absence? So if you were not present earlier, can you be present now? If you were present and you are present, will you become absent? So what are you? An eternal presence, ever relevant presence, imperishable. The body perishes every moment, but the inner presence is imperishable, proving its presence in every perishable factor. Understand it. Oh, Arjuna became so delighted, so confident. What is this? I have not heard this. I am a great fighter, illustrious fighter. I came with that illustriousness. Here, everything proved futile. My dear Krishna alone is there to talk to me. He discussed life. Matras parshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha duhkadaha agamapayinaha anityaha tanti dikshasva bharata. Can you explain to me what is life? Krishna says it is interactional. Interactional means which are the two factors which interact. You are interacting with the world. Where is the interaction taking place? In the level of the senses. How many senses do you have? 5. So the world also is 5. Why do you call it plural and infinite? With the eyes we see, everything becomes sight. With the ears we hear sound. With the nose we smell. With the tongue we taste. With the skin we touch. So the entire world is sound, touch, etc. 5. The world may be infinite in number. That is also shown by the eyes. So the infinitely various world, when I begin to experience it, you begin to experience it, the infinitude becomes what? Sollungole enna pesami irukku with all your intelligence. They become 5. My 5 senses reduce the infinite nature of the world into 5. Am I right or wrong? Huh? I am not happy. You tell me very clearly I am right or not. My senses make the infinite nature of the world 5-fold in my experience. These 5 sensations are only in the sensory level. When they go inside further, in the mind level, they become 2. What are they? Pleasant and unpleasant. Happiness and unhappiness. So where is the entire infinitude of the world gone now? What can the world do to change the sequence and pattern? And when you go to sleep, both get dissolved. So where are they born? In my mind and senses. Where are they going? Into my mind. So the world emerges when I wake up and dissolves when I go to sleep. Will you agree that you are the maker and the dissolver of the world? I will not leave you. Give me your intelligence and then speak. Only when I wake up, the world is seen, produced before me. When I sleep, it dissolves. Every man wakes up from sleep. He goes into sleep from waking. Show me one man who is waking up except from sleep, and who is wakeful but not going into sleep. So the wakeful world dances only between 2 sleeps. And sleep is always of an individual. So tell me, what is the source of the wakefulness, the world? Here lies the key for your conflict. Every conflict is born of the mind, and its solution is in the intelligence. See how Krishna delivers it. The instance was one of war and fighting, unwillingness to fight. He expanded it in such a manner that he gives a beautiful definition of life. Beautiful definition of life. Matra sparashastu kaunteya. Our interaction life is completely depending upon our senses and the world objects. Our senses are touched, contacted by the objects. Then electrical pulses are sent. Experience is inward. Though objects are incidental in causing experiences, experience itself is subjective, personal, inner, mental. Do you agree or not? It is internal. Will you forget this? Will you forget this? If sleep can dissolve all our conflicts, the wakeful mind and the wakeful intelligence can also dissolve. And in all these interactions, what do we get? We only get 2 experiences, pleasantness and unpleasantness. Where are they? In the mind. Both are one after the other. So if you want to have happiness, you should necessarily have unhappiness. Happiness will follow unhappiness. And happiness will lead to I give you a question paper. Unless you are unhappy, you cannot be happy. So if you are happy, what will you have next? So every happiness is in between two unhappinesses. It is just like giving a sumptuous meal to a man who is going to be hanged. சாப்பிடப்பா நிறையா சாப்பிட்றாங்க. Beautiful meal is served, kindly, affectionately, persuading him to eat. Can he eat? Because he is going to be hanged. So if you have happiness, it has followed unhappiness. And it is to be succeeded by unhappiness. So for every happiness, you have two unhappinesses. Tell me whether happiness is worth having. Suppose you don't try for happiness, even then will you not have it? Sukha and duhkha will irresistibly add when senses and objects contact each other. Therefore, the worst conflict is sukha and duhkha, happiness and unhappiness. Both of them do not prefer either, have no prejudice to either, have an even and a comprehensive attitude whereby you will be engulfing both. இது முடியுமா முடியாதா? சொல்லப்பா, பார்த்தா எல்லாரும் எவ்வளோ அழகா இருக்கீங்க. சொல்லுங்க. With my intelligence, with our intelligence, what is not possible? Arjuna started nodding his head. Yes, yes. Have an even attitude towards sukha and duhkha, sukha and duhkha, sukha and duhkha, happiness and misery. And all the world, mark my words, together with all the gifts and bounties it has, they can only produce sukha and duhkha. And if you are able to harmonize and integrate both, don't you think you can harmonize and integrate all world experiences, events and their outcomes? So here is the solution. All conflicts are nothing more than duhkha. Duhkha is a complement to sukha, and sukha is a complement to duhkha. So I am not going to be afraid of any conflict. You imagine very happy parents who have obedient children, etc. All the parents are there, they live and they do nothing more. So many people have died like that. These parents also will die. Suppose, I don't want it to happen, but I am still quoting before you a reality. If somebody has died prematurely, my disciples I have encountered, I have to go and console them. Somebody dies prematurely, their whole life changes. So I have written a sentence, I tell people, the living children generally do not teach the parents in any manner. But the dead child certainly teaches. Is it a fact or not? சொல்லப்பா. ட்ரூத் சொன்னால் சிரிக்கணும் தெரியுமா? கவலைப்படக்கூடாது. When we speak truth, we should be happy because that is the only thing that will delight us. Now I must have some time. I want to give you something very, 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 very precious. Precious. I must have the time for it. I told you, personal stories are the prevailing influence. So from our history, I want to present to you a typical instance in Rama's life. Sollatuma? Huh? It is such a precious treasure. I was superlatively joyous, exhilarating to the core. See, this is the wealth. Here is the conflict-facing situation explained, my dear souls. I cannot explain it fully, but I will run through it. Sri Ramarajya is referred to in the G20 New Delhi Declaration. You understand? Has any one of you read? This Rama's Rajya, that is the administration, was so beautiful, auspicious, welfare oriented, that even now it is our ideal. We must have such administrators and rule. So Rama asked one of the spies, Bhadra my name, what are people speaking about me and the administration? Nirbandha prishtaha sajagada sarvam stuvandi paurashcharidam twadiyam anyatra raksho bhavanoshidaya parigrahat manavadeva devya. I am quoting these verses so that you will listen to them. Even listening to one word will change your life. When the spy was insisted upon by Rama, he gently opened his mouth to say that all people are praising you for your fair administration. Not a single word of protest, denial. But they only have one point in their mind. Our Lord, our King, accepted a woman who was living in a Rakshasa's palace. புரியுறதா உங்களுக்கு? You know, my eyes are becoming full. Nirbandha prishtaha. When he insisted upon him, the spy, he opened his mouth and said, she lived in a Rakshasa's palace. That's all what he says. We are not going to cast any aspersion. But she lived in a Rakshasa's palace. I still wish my king should not do this. He should not be blamed for this act. Kalatra ninda guruna kilaivam abhyagatam kirti vipariyena ayokhanena ivabhitaptam vaidehi bandhor hridayam vidadre. Can you imagine, my dear souls? A wonderful Rama living in Ayodhya, delighting everybody in the kingdom. Such a great person. When a spy came and told him, he did not ask any further detail. Who said it? Where? How consequential these people are? Nothing he inquired. But he only said, Kalatra ninda gurunaya kilaivam. It was a huge conflict, my dear souls. I want you to weepingly feel it. What? His own wife. What he first did was prepare a fireplace. And Lakshmana asked her to jump into it. She did not get burnt. Came out with golden color. This was more than sufficient. Such a purity incarnate lady. Kalatra ninda guruna. At least one person is there in my kingdom to cast aspersion on her. Therefore, abhyagatam kirti vipariyena. This immediately tarnishes my reputation as a great and glorious king of the Ikshvaku dynasty, born from Surya. See? Ayoghanena yaivabhitaptam vaidehi bandhor hridayam vidadre. His mind was already heated. His mind was already heated, but for having asked his Sita to jump into fire, it was more a test for him because he did not know what happened. Sita alone knows. So she had her confidence. But Rama was always having a delicate heart. So his heart was already heated. Now with a huge hammer, it is being hit. Imagine, this is Kalidasa's poetry. What a beautiful poetry is this. How imaginative. Kimatmanirvada katham upekshe jayam adosham uta sanjajami ityeka pakshashraya viklavatvad asit sadola achala chitta vritti. Idu romba azhaga irukappa, neenga padichu paatha dhaan theriyum. How beautiful, how conveying, how glorious, how incomparable. Kim atma nirvada katha mupekshe. Here is a choice before me, a conflict before me. Shall I bypass this aspersion that has come to me, or jayam adosham uta santyajami, or my sinless wife I shall abandon? Two are the alternatives. Either disregard this report, or if I regard it, I have to abandon Sita. Ityeka paksha ashraya viklavatvat. Thinking about the two, unable to take a decision. Asit sadola achala chitta vritti. His mind became a cradle, swinging. Yeah. புரியுறதா உங்களுக்கு? Can you imagine the conflict? Will you ever have a greater conflict in life? Enna pesale? Shall I ignore this slander? Or shall I abandon my taint-free wife? Thinking in this manner, his mind became a cradle. Nishchityajan anyanivritti vachyam tyagena patnya parimarshtumaichad abhiswadehat kimudendriyarthad yashodhananam hi yashogiriyaha. See, this is rendered by Kalidasa, a great poet. So every narration he makes, you will find profound reason, support, confirmation, authenticity in what he says. What does he say? Nishchityajananyavritti vachyam. By weighing both, he came to a conclusion. What is the conclusion? I am going to abandon my wife Sita in order to wash off this ill reputation. Abhiswadehat kimudendriyarthad. For a man who is faultless and reputed, nothing greater is there than the reputation, the goodwill, the acclaim of the people. Sri Rama was first a king, then a husband. What? When you are married, what do you become? Girls become first the wife, next the daughter. Until marriage, as long as she was in the parents' home, you are a daughter. The moment you are married, your father puts you on your lap and gives you, saying that I have no propriety over this girl. With Gotra Sahitam, I am giving it to you. When that marriage is really done in the Vedic style, every parent will cry. Because he is completely dropping his ownership over the girl and handing it over to the husband. Rajarshi vamshasya ravi prasudehe upasthita pashyata kidrushoyam mattas sadachara shujeh kalanga payodavata divadarpanasya. He introspects. You understand the conflict now? Now, how to raise your own inner dimension from a deeper level to act boldly and confidently in the conflict, in facing the conflict. So you have got a normal mind, conventional mind. It has got the conventional dimension. Now you have to evolve deeper, loftier, broader, and more sterling dimensions of the mind. You should be attentive. See, when he was very young on the coronation day, Kaikeyi told him, no coronation for you. Go straight to Dandakaranya. Live there for 14 years. Before you return, Bharata would have become very close to the people and you will not be able to sit on the throne. He asked, my dear stepmother, only this much? Rama will have left Ayodhya before the sunset today, he declared. Now I am asking every one of you, what will you say? Tell me. I used to ask children and they responded. At least one child will be there, I will do what Rama did. See, this is what he said. That conflict is still facing him in a graver manner. My family, my lineage has been born from the sun. And all of them were Rajarshis, saintly people. And because of me, there is an aspersion coming to the whole lineage. It is like a clean mirror affected by vapor. I am not going to tolerate it. He sent for the brothers and said, Paureshu soham bahuli bhavandam abam tarangeshviva taila bindum sodhum na tatpurvam avarnamishe alanikam salumivad dvibendra. It's full of simile, my dear souls. I wish you appreciate it. This is a slander which is spreading like a drop of oil in a lake of waves. You know, even a small spot of oil, it will go on spreading because oil floats on the water. So it has started with one man It is going to spread. Many mouths will start speaking about it later. Paureshu soham. Sodhum, I am not able to bear it, my dear brothers. For the first time that such an aspersion has come to the Ikshvaku dynasty. I feel like a huge tusker elephant being tied to a small post. Do you understand? Huh?
Yes.
Elephant has got a vow that I will not uproot the tree or trunk where I am tied. It will not uproot. So here is a huge tusker tied to a pole with a chain. I feel so like that. Avaimi chainam anakhedi kintu lokapavado belavan mato me chaya hi bhume shashino malatve narovida shuddhimata prajabhi. I know very clearly that Janaki, the foster daughter of King Janaka, a greatly wise knower, she is absolutely sinless. Still, the slander in my society, in my people, is more powerful to me. What is the nature of people? See the beautiful moon, it is all brilliant. The shadow of the earth caused there makes the people say, Chandra is a Kalangi. It's actually the shadow. His brilliance is not affected. This is the way people will talk. So I am not able to bear it. Sashushuvan Madhari Bhargavena Pitirniyogat Prahadam Dvishadvad Pratyagrahid Agrajashasanam Tad Ajna Gurunam Avicharaniya. Lakshmana, having heard the brother, Bhargava has killed his mother at the bidding of his father, Parashurama. So, my brother is an elder. Apart from that, he is a king. When he has ordered me, I am not going to sit in judgment over it. I will simply follow. Lakshmana took her. She had expressed a wish that during pregnancy, I would like to go and spend some time in an ashram serving the saint. So, under that pretext, you take her and leave her near some saintly residence, he said. Lakshmana took her and told the sister-in-law, after prostrating before her, I am very sorry, my brother has asked me to abandon you. You know, Sita instantly became angry. See the characterization. And she says, Vachyastvaya madvajanat saraja vannau vishuddham abhiyat samaksham mam lokavada shravanadahasi sutasya kim tat sadrisham kulasya. You women, you must be appreciating it, is it not? Sita speaks in such insinuating way. Vachyastvaya madvajanat saraja. See, let that king be told of these my words. She says, let that king be told of these my words. Because Lakshmana is the messenger. She doesn't tell my Lord Rama. Certainly that direct expression is not there. How beautifully it is brought forth here. Vachyastvaya madvajanat saraja vannau vishuddham abhiyat samaksham. Was it not in his presence and at his bidding that I entered the fire and came out unhurt? And that person, he now dares to abandon her. Let me know from him. Go and tell him and let him give me his reply. Sudasya takkim tat sadrisham kulasya. Does it correspond to, does it fit in with his learning? Or the style and convention of his lineage? See the conflict? And this message was delivered to Rama. So what would have been his mind, you think? Immediately, as a chaste woman of India, here you find the character. See, the entire epic narration is characteral elegance, behavioral majesty, and interactional excellence. Everywhere you can find Kalyana Buddhe Rathavatavayam Loka Nakamacharo Mahishankaniya Mamaiva janmantarapadhakanam vipaka vishpurjadhura prasahya. No, 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 I'm sorry. No, 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 no. Kalyana buddhe. That one word, it gives me immeasurable ecstasy. My husband is a Kalyana buddhi. He has got an auspicious intellect. So what I said was wrong. Athavayam na kamacharo mai shankaniya. He would not have acted, especially about me, in a flit of temper, etc. What he has done is right. Mamaiva janmantara padhakanam vipaka vishpurjadhura prasahya. I myself must have done a lot of wrong in my previous life. All the results have now become mature and they are bursting in a thunderous form. He is not to be blamed at all, she says. Kimva atavatyanda vyogamokhe kuryamupeksham hadajividesmin syadrekshaniyam yadimena tejaha todiyam. She says, however you have abandoned me, you are not going to come to me, and I shall not be taken to you also. So in your absence, I don't feel like living. A thought is there that I should commit suicide, but I am not allowed. You know why? Because I carry in my womb your embryo. I carry in my womb your bija. So how can I commit suicide? So I am prevented from it. Even that freedom is not there. Are you able to picture the conflict? On the one hand in Rama, on the other side in Sita. Saham tabas surya nivishta drishti urdhvam prasude sharidum yadishye bhuyo yathame jananantarebi tavaiva bharta tvameva bharta nacha viprayoga. You know what I am going to do? Somehow I will bear this child and deliver the child. After delivering the child, I will straight go to the forest and constantly fixing my eyes on the sun, I will do austerity so that don't say your mind is blunted. It is not granite. It's not a pestle made out of iron. It is an immensely flexible, sentient substratum. You can stretch it to any extent. It is deeper than the oceans, vaster than the space. All these are inert matter substances. This is above matter, supramaterial. You can dig out any dimension that you want. So the born child I will abandon. Straight away I will go to the forest. Fixing my gaze constantly on the sun, I will do austerity so that again I will have you as my husband and there will be no separation between us. She adds, see, Nripasya varnashrama palanam yad sayeva dharmo manuna pranidaha nirvasidapyevam atatvayaham tapasvi samanyam avekshaniya. Are you able to appreciate, my dear girls? What I say? Puriliya. You are not able to appreciate? Can you think like this? Before any conflict, do not yield. Think. Nripasya varnashrama palanam yadi. My dear king, you remember, you are given to upholding the varnashrama dharma, that there are brahmacharis, married people, anchorites, and also sannyasins. All of them you have to protect and sustain. That is the duty. This is what Manu has said right from the beginning. Though I have been abandoned by you as a wife in the Grihasthashrama, I am going to do tapasya. So I am an austere tapaswini. So you should treat me like all the other ascetics in this world. At least that treatment you should give us. Are you not able to appreciate what I say? Coming to know such a lady has come. Valmiki Maharshi came and he saw. Immediately he said, I am not going to blame you at all, nor your husband. My role is to ensure that you are safe with your pregnancy and your delivery is ensured. He remembered suddenly what happened. This Valmiki Maharshi was a hunter. He saw, Valmiki Maharshi was Ratnagara. He was a forest dacoit. So he saw a hunter later on killing one of the pair of birds, etc. And there was a lot of sorrow. That sorrow he remembered. He had left his wife and children. And now he decided to look after her. So he said, don't worry, be with me. You have come to your own home, to your father, he said. Jane visrishtam pranidhanatvam pranidhanatastvam mithyapavada kshubhidena bharta tanma vyadhishta vishayantarastam prapta sivaidehi pidurniketam. I know that you are left by Rama. He was agitated by whatever he heard, therefore he has left. But mind you, you are safely in the custody of your own home and your own father. He says, Payoghadair ashrama bala vrikshan samvardhayanti swabalanurupai asamshayam praktanayopapatte stanandhaya pridimavapsyasitvam. Come. There are a number of small seedlings in my ashram. Every day take water and water them. You will feel that kind of a joy, fondness and consolation as if you are a mother breastfeeding your children. See, here are three people who are in conflict. One is Rama, another is Sita. The third is Valmiki. Valmiki was a saint. Why did he feel that I should adopt her and look after her? Was it not a conflicting situation? Did they not exceed in all these? Similarly, my dear souls, now I want 1,000,000 mouths to speak to so many people. Similarly, whenever you feel a conflict posed by your mind, understand that you have a superior intelligence by whose deliberation, by whose timely effort and advice, the mind can be given a far deeper and a loftier dimension. This conflict will be nothing. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, what is striking as poison first and becomes nectar next, that is the most purifying form of episode in the world. So none of you should be shaken by any conflict. This conflict is mind-born. No experience comes from outside. There is a certain situation, when you analyze it or otherwise, you feel its impact is very painful. So it is the mind itself creating the conflict and the solution delivered by the intelligence. There is no problem of the human mind which does not have its solution in the hand of the intelligence. I shall tell you a small episode and stop. There was a very liberal king, very liberal. He used to sanction whatever prayers the needed people came. So one day it occurred to a man that I should put this king into a trouble. So he went there. And with a lot of respect he came, I have coming to know of your charity. So I have come here. What do you want? Say, I want to pass stool on your throne, he said. I want to pass stool on your throne. Okay, I shall give you an answer after a week. He went away. The minister started discussing, and finally he said, how can you refuse him? So you call him. You have to sanction his prayer. But you only add a safeguarding clause. So he was invited. He said, I allow you to do what you want, but I have a condition. You should not pass urine. And that was the end of it. He went there because he could not have done what he wanted without incurring me. This is how the intelligence works. There is a solution for every kind of a crisis. In Ramana, you will find it. I think I have finished my talk. This message I wanted to deliver to you. I don't know whether you have been benefited. Here are three people, the great Rama, the greater Sita, and the greatest of Valmiki. All of them were undergoing through conflicts, and they handled them so well that all the three are glorified even today, and people are wanting to emulate them. In fractional degrees or full digital degrees, there are people in the world, more perhaps in India, who become Sri Rama. 10 degrees, 10% or 5% or digital person. Similarly, Sita. When I address people, I used to look at the women and then say, I would like to have a few Janakis, a few Draupadis, a few Sumitras, I used to say. And people used to respond. I am a very, very powerful, inspiring speaker, but my voice has faded. So any conflict, don't have any fear, any disappointment. Think of these people and derive the inspiration. Your society is great, your family is great, our forefathers are great, great, super great. We are not going to fail before any worldly incident or accident. Okay. After a 2.5-hour dialogue, Arjuna said, all my conflicts gone, grief gone, doubts gone. I am going to take back my weapons and fight not one Mahabharata war, but a score of them if necessary, he said. This is where he stood. I will conclude the session with an invocation and a conclusional omkara. Samvedya varjitamanuttamamekamadyam samvitpadam vigalanam kalayan mahatman hridyeva tishtha kalanarahida kriyam tu kurvan agartrapadamethya samodida shri kurvan agartrapadamethya samodida shri. Now we shall recite. I hope you will participate in a much fuller measure this time, because we are familiar that mutuality must have grown. Hari, Hari, Hari. Okay, Hari Om Tas. Jai Guru, Jai Guru.